Holy tzaddikim and tzaddikot. Hope everybody's doing great. Um, Today, I had a very, very unique privilege to go on a special trip. We took the students of Israel XP down to the Otif Aza, the Gaza envelope, um, visiting a couple of the places that were hit very hard on October 7th. We went to Kibbutz Keren Shalom, a kibbutz that is right next to Gaza, like literally right next to Gaza. Like there's a wall up between them. It's like without that wall, it's like a 4-minute walk. I mean, when I say, I mean right next to Gaza. And we also visited the Nova Music Festival site and a couple other places as well. And it was very, very powerful. It was very, very powerful trip. It really, I'll be honest, a lot of people have been coming to Israel and making this trip, especially people coming to visit and people living in Israel also. And I wasn't ready. I still felt very, very raw and very, very vulnerable, emotionally to be able to go on this trip. But, when it finally came around now to our current students spending the day there, I decided I was ready. I decided I was ready to do it, and I'm so glad I did. And I want to share with you two lessons that I gained. There's so many. I'm going to be processing for a while because it was very serious, and the stories were so heartbreaking on the one hand and inspiring on the other. So I want to tell you two lessons. The first lesson is Mi Ka'amcha Yisrael. Who is like us? Who's like the Jewish people? The level of Mesirut Nefesh, level of sacrifice that people actually have to defend our homeland and to defend their fellow Jews. I mean, I don't know how I cannot be blown away. We were taken around by a former soldier, someone who's in Miluim, someone who's basically around my age, and he's in what's called Kitat Konenut, which is like the first responders for the yeshuv that we went to, Kerem Shalom. So he's not like an active soldier or anything like that. And on the morning of October 7th, him with 8 other first responders, right, and 4 soldiers that were there, 13 people, fended off about 200 terrorists. 200 terrorists. An open miracle. He told stories of literally his own life, how he was saved by miracles. At one time, a terrorist threw a grenade and it just didn't explode. He would have been blown up. And crazy miracles. 4 people from that, invasion, from that brutal invasion from these subhuman barbarians. 4 people were killed, and obviously that's terrible. But when you think about what could have been, like just from the numbers to how they penetrated the walls of the yeshuv, and what could have been the heroism of these people, just to step up to the plate. He spoke about a moment where, he was faced with like, do I leave my kids and my wife and leave them and hope they're okay and go fight? Or do I stay here with them? Like an impossible choice. And he locked the door to his house. And he locked his wife and his kids in the safe room. And he went out to go fight, not knowing if he'd be able to come home. And the heroism of just, quote unquote, random citizen after random citizen to not just, fold up and, give up in the face of unspeakable evil it's just nothing short of heroic. If we talk about our enemies being subhuman, these people are angels. They're so special. And that was the first thing that I picked up on. Like, for many of us, you just don't see this on a daily basis, the willingness to really sacrifice. I was making a joke with someone. I'm like, I'm used to people fighting over like the last piece of chicken or the last piece of cake. And here's a person who's literally willing to give his life to save other people, not even himself, to save other people. And all the petty things that I have. I don't want to blame any of you that I have. Really made me realize like what a person is truly capable of if they're focused and if they focus on the right thing. The second lesson I learned, and I really learned this at the Nova Music Festival site, is that the Jewish people are so united. Let me be clear about something. The Nova Festival site, where hundreds of people were murdered in cold blood, it was a rave. It was an open air party on Shabbat Simchat Torah. Let's be a little bit harsh. It wasn't exactly on surface level the holiest thing to be doing on Shabbat, on Simchat Torah. And yet, when you went there, you saw all different types of Jews coming to see it and pay their respects to the people who were killed and to the hostages that were taken there. I'm taking all types of Jews. There was a tefillin stand for people. There was a tent, someone there writing a Sefer Torah. I had the zchut, the privilege to write a letter in this Sefer Torah. Many of our students did also. There were ultra-Orthodox people there. There were modern Orthodox, Dati Lomi. There was secular Jews there. Everyone, all different types, to pay their respects to the Kedoshim, to the holy people who were slaughtered on that day, on October 7th, in cold blood. And it was so inspiring. We started to sing Achenu, right? Our brothers and sisters and all the Jewish people who are in a hard time. Hanotunim Batzara v'Eshivia were sitting in a hard time. Hashem should have mercy on them. And it wasn't just us as XP. Everyone came over and started singing with us. It was so powerful. All different types of Jews. And when push comes to shove, when the back's up against the wall, we're brothers and sisters. And it's just magical. There's something so comforting in knowing that we got each other's backs. We don't always agree with our siblings' decisions. That's true. But the love is there in a major way. So that's what I learned today. And maybe I knew these things beforehand, but to witness them and to see them and to experience them firsthand, it was a really special and a meaningful day. And I hope you all have the chance to do that also. To be able to see how special your brothers and sisters are, how much they're willing to sacrifice for each other, and how much we love each other regardless of how different we look or how we have different opinions in the world. There's just no one like the Jewish people. We are so blessed to be part of this special nation. And I wish all the tzaddikim and tzaddikot bracha that we recognize this bracha. We try to emulate those heroes, and we recognize how blessed we are to be part of the greatest group of people, the greatest fraternity ever created. The children of Israel, the children of Hashem, Am Yisrael. Wishing all the holy tzaddikim and tzaddikot a Shabbat Shalom.